you notice in important moments or everyday moments that you distract yourself from who you truly are? Join us for this conversation about Gene Key 56, woven together with the wisdom of the Sabian symbols. Welcome to the Free to Be Free portal. I'm Julia Ananda, and I'm here with astrologer and Gene Keys guide, Margaret Miller. Hi, Margaret. I'm excited for this conversation.
Hi, Julia. I am too. Yeah, this is a really important gene key. I think they all are, but I think it's very relevant to us now, especially gene key 56 with its shadow of distraction, its gift of enrichment, and the Siddhi of intoxication. And so, just to start out, I just want to be thinking about how do we distract ourselves? And there's how do we not distract ourselves actually is more of a relevant question, really. How do we keep ourselves from all of these distractions, the social media, the television, all kinds of things that we can do. Um, Food can be a distraction, anything that we reach for to keep us. And why do we distract ourselves? Because we are trying to keep ourselves from discomfort or from pain or from, just things that are uncomfortable in our lives or in our psyche. And I think we distract ourselves sort of unconsciously all the time, that we have these particular ones, particular distractions probably that are go-to. And so as we're looking at this, I just would like just put it out there to have you just be thinking about and feel for the things that distract you the most, and or that you use to distract you from who you really are, like you said in the beginning of this. Why are we trying to distract ourselves from who we really are? Well, because this is in the gene keys. This this gene key is a stop codon. In other words, it doesn't uh, code for any amino acid. It's just like a period at the end of a genetic sentence. And so it is really talking about how we need to stop distracting ourselves. And what is it that we're distracting ourselves from? Are the illusion, the discomfort that's caused by the illusion of separation. Okay. So the discomfort that, somewhere in us, we know for sure that we're connected to all that is. Like there is this wisdom in every human that knows that we are connected, but we have been trained and indoctrinated into this idea of the separation, just by incarnation, by coming into this physical body. We have these separate physical bodies, which kind of allude to us being, separate from each other. And we have, you know, the schooling and everything in our lives, our societies over generations and generations have just, really, really brought that home and made us feel like we're separate. And even, our religions and things like that, it's like God's out there somewhere, and we're these individual little beings on this earth. Well, it's very uncomfortable here. We have a lot of pain in this life. We have a lot of suffering, right? So we're really trying to distract ourselves from that suffering. And that suffering is caused by that illusion of separation. Once we come into a higher frequency and recognize our connectedness and actually start to live that way in our lives, then that suffering dissipates. So thinking about all, the distractions that I don't have as much anymore, but like getting hooked into drama, getting hooked into my own drama that I'm making up in my own head. Somebody said this or did that or whatever, and how could they have done that to me or blah blah blah. That kind of a distraction where I'm just replaying some event or and causing drama or hooking into somebody else's drama or the drama that is playing out in the world, right? And how many people do you know that get so distracted by political events or what's happening out there that they forget that they have this beautiful life that they could be living, you know, on if they were just present to it instead of present to everybody else's drama. So this is it's just a very, very powerful energy that all of us are moving through, that all of us have. We all have this shadow of distraction. And coming back to the idea of the stop codon, it's really telling us to stop. Because in order to get out of distraction, we have to stop. It's like stop, 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 stop whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking, whatever is running here on overdrive. Stop, take a moment and move inward, right? This is how we get ourselves out of it. It's distracting us from who we really are. It's distracting us from the truth of our being. And the only way we can come back to that is to go inside. And that's why sort of in the Gene Keys, the art of contemplation is the main teaching. The Gene Keys are this incredible living wisdom that and living transmission that evolves and changes over time, but it has those keywords that bring us back, and contemplating those words, the word distraction and then the word enrichment and the word intoxication can bring us back into ourselves, and we can really feel where that is. And so that stopping can bring us to an awareness of, oh, I have been distracting myself from this discomfort that I'm feeling for whatever reason. And if I just breathe into it and allow it and allow it, it will move through very rapidly. There's a lot of different people that talk about this in their beautiful healing work. I think I've got this right. Lynn Taggart, I think, talks about the idea that anger, for example, the physiological response of anger only lasts for 90 seconds. And if we're able to stop, hold still, breathe through it, it dissipates in 90 seconds. No matter what it is that we're angry about, that response goes away in 90 seconds unless we reactivate it and we keep thinking about it and we keep keep replaying it, and then we can have it go on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 10 or 20 years. It doesn't matter. And we're playing that drama and distracting ourselves ultimately from who we really are. So
And then we get addicted to that physiological feeling, and we stay in it and keep cultivating it.
absolutely. And that's why, and this is the same thing with stress, anything that makes us feel anxiety or, really stressed out. And if we find ourselves going back to that and back to that or can't get out of it, it's because we're running that cortisol and that adrenaline, right? And this is, the beautiful work of the Heart Math Institute, teaches us about, stopping that and coming down into our heart center and, cultivating gratitude and so forth. And, to help us to stop that cycle and to start using our internal pharmacy that we have, this beautiful internal pharmacy, to start creating the hormones of joy and satisfaction and peace and calm, which we have in abundance. This is our natural state. We don't believe it anymore most of the time because we live, a lot of us live quite stressful lives or have. We can all relate to it anyway, you know.
Is that what enrichment is about? Moving to
Yes,
the path of
absolutely.
enrichment?
Thank
Yeah.
you for getting me over this hump into enrichment, because that is what it's about. It's not what we do, it's what we stop doing that enriches us. Now it can, the things that we do can enrich us, but the enrichment comes through stopping being distracted, turning inwards, and finding this incredible universe of peace and calm and love and gratitude and enjoyment that's already existing in our own being, in our own heart. And then doing whatever activity we're going to do, whatever creation we're going to make or whatever it is from that place, and then we know we're being enriched, and we know we can see enrichment because it benefits others as well, right? We enrich others' lives through our presence, through our whatever we're offering, whatever we're doing. And that's when we know, right? That's how we can tell that we're in this gift of enrichment. It's making our life feel more meaningful and more beautiful, and it's also benefiting others. And
That's such a wonderful feeling. It really is. And that lasts. That lasts for a couple days. It's
right,
so nice. Yeah.
or more, and then because it also gets you in the pattern of utilizing that stop, utilizing that pause to, before you do, go about anything in your day, before you brush your teeth, before to just take that pause, come inside of yourself, feel the magnificence of your own being, and then brush your teeth, or then, do whatever that activity is. You start to have that be really part of your lifestyle, and everything is enriching, and it truly is. I mean, we live in an incredible playground, this earth, and so then that it doesn't mean that, like things like I like to use that example that Richard Rudd uses in his, the chocolate cake. It can be a distraction from something, eating that piece of chocolate cake is going to make me feel better, or it can be enrichment. And it just depends on what you're utilizing it for. And and then as we, get into the higher frequencies of that in intoxication, uh, that we might only need to have a tiny, tiny sliver of that chocolate cake to get the same enrichment and the same enjoyment that we might get. So, so talking about the Siddhi of intoxication, it sounds like a shadow word, right? When intoxication, but really it's talking about divine intoxication. It's when the individual self has disappeared into that sea of love, into that, into the heart, into the one heart, right? And is just drunk with love, drunk with, or intoxicated with the divine. and and there's, many examples of that throughout history of, many of our enlightened beings have this this quality of divine intoxication, and where they just being in their presence brings brings this incredible feeling of joy and love and expansion, and seeing through the eyes of love and being seen through the eyes of love,
Yeah.
right? And so it's just a beautiful, beautiful gene key to contemplate, and as the sun is moving through that, through this next week, through this gene key, just shining, allow it to shine the light on the places where you're distracting yourself from this this incredible life that you are, right? That you are a part of and that you're contributing to, and look for those things that really inside of yourself that are really enriching, and look at your practices that way too. I think is really important. So I think I want to just jump in to the Sabian symbols too, because I want to weave. I am. This is one of my missions right now, and Julia, thank you so much for helping me with fulfilling this. Is to weave the beautiful Sabian symbols, the 360 symbols, one for each degree of the zodiac, to weave them with each of the gene keys that they're associated with. So the first one I'm going to start with is Cancer 28, and it is a young Native woman introduces her college boyfriend to the assembled tribe. And so you can kind of there's this idea here of enrichment. She's going to enrich uh, I think her college boyfriend by immersing him in the culture, beautiful, rich culture of her tribe, and you know, and see and feel and experience their response. How do they receive the college boyfriend, and how does he receive this probably very different culture, right? And you can feel how also this college boyfriend may be coming from a very distracted society, right? From a very distracted perspective, and moving into this, into a more natural and well-defined culture where things are moving slower, right? So you can see how that could be incredibly enriching, and to learn the stories, because the storytelling and is very much a part of this gene key as well. And I think that's why I'm going off on these little stories, because it's the story at the shadow frequency is our distraction, is our what we're making up, the story that we're making up that's causing us to feel uncomfortable, to feel that pain and discomfort, and it goes down that storyline. But then the storytelling becomes, because you can imagine the elders in the tribe, telling stories to teach about their culture and so forth. And then the storytelling becomes enrichment, because the stories always at this higher frequency always have a meaning and a lesson, right? So it's just a beautiful symbol.
Versus the drama
Right.
the,
Versus
in the shadow, right? In the shadow frequency, the storytelling of drama.
right, right. And so that's another thing to look at. How much are we, what stories are we telling? Are we telling an enriching story, or are we telling a distracting story? So then, Cancer 29, a Greek muse weighing newborn twins in golden scales. And so this gene key, or this Sabian symbol, see how it gets they get woven together here for me. This Sabian symbol is talking about like the intuitive weighing of alternatives, and so for me, it's like the newborn twins sort of sometimes also represent in this Sabian symbol. They represent the material reality versus the spiritual reality. And as human beings in physical bodies, we have to balance that. We have to be able to be, sort of ultimately be in this world and not, but not of it, right? We have to have that spiritual reality and that deep, rich spiritual life, uh, and and also operate as human beings on a physical planet, right? And with our the physical realities. And so that balance of, being able to stop and go inwards when necessary, and also to be able to be active in the outer world is sort of how I see those two coming together, the gene key and the Sabian symbol. So then Cancer 30, a daughter of the American Revolution, uh, speaks proudly to a, a listening audience. And and so it's this Sabian symbol is about the prestige of uh, conservation of heritage, or the demonstration of heritage, or the recounting of, again, sort of the recounting of the history or the story. And in one sense, it's a very enriching symbol. But if sort of at the shadow frequency, that prestige can turn into, just a false kind of um, honor, or a false integrity, where I'm a daughter of the American Revolution, but I am, not acting in the way, or, my the society may not be in that place of acting from what they were fighting for, right? The daughter of the American Revolution was, they were fighting for the freedom and all of those freedoms and so forth. And if we're not following that wisdom, then what are we doing? We're just saying we're special because of our heritage, but not contributing to it in some way. So same sort of an idea where we can really see, you can see the enrichment that's possible if somebody's sharing that history. But what are they doing? Maybe that contribution of sharing that history is that enrichment. So then the next one is we move into Leo 1. So we then enter this week, we enter the sign, the sun enters, I say we, but the sun enters the sign of Leo. And Leo is a fire sign. So we're moving out of the water sign and into the fire sign. And Leo is ruled by the sun. So it is very much a solar energy. And so the Leo personality, for instance, would want to have center stage. They want to shine like the sun, right? They want to show themselves off and show their gifts, and really express uh, in this like a lion, right? Roaring like the lion, and with this self-assurance. And so this first symbol, Leo 1, is blood rushes to a man's head uh, in in emotional outburst. Okay, so you can feel that energy of the whatever he's passionate about, or if he's angry, or whatever it is, that blood rushing to our head. In the original symbol for this, it talked about uh, a case of apoplexy. And I had to look the word up. But and originally this word was used in just in the day-to-day language to mean uh, somebody getting red-faced anger, right? Or red-faced emotion. It might not be anger, but usually that's what it would apply to. But in medical terms, it was the word for a stroke. Okay, and it's only been, I think, in the most recent revision of the medical text that it turned to the word stroke, right? So you can kind of feel that, we talked about that, this our emotions can be a great distraction if we keep feeding them, right? And somebody uh in that state, uh you know they really need to stop and to come down so that they can express themselves in a way that will be enriching for themselves and for everybody else. And but this Sabian symbol is also talking about that, um, the eruption of our psychic energies, or our emotional energies, or just our passion out into the world, and finding ways to express it that are helpful and useful. So very beautiful Sabian symbol there as well. And then we come to Leo 2, and this is during an epidemic of the mumps, children, or an epidemic, children are seen playing together. And so this is the power of the individual crises through that moving through the collective, right? It's how someone's drama, or someone's crisis can is contagious. It can move through the collective, right? And so this is a powerful symbol associated with this 56 gene key, because you can see how that, you know, our dramas uh, quickly become collective dramas, and how, uh, ideas, uh, false or true ideas, can spread through the collective like a virus, right? And we talk about viruses in terms of computers as well, right? Or something, an idea, or something going viral, right? And so, but in the midst of all that, the children are playing, right? The children aren't concerned with that. They don't get, until we draw them in, they're not concerned with that, and they don't get distracted by it, right? And so, oh gosh, there's so many beautiful things with that symbolism. uh, just coming back to the idea of the shadow, the gift, and the city, that also works at the gift and the city level. So now, just thinking about that, like, I want to talk about that one a little bit more, because at the gift and the city frequency, our ideas and our emotions and our presence is also contagious, right? If we have enough uh, strength presence, um, in our being, and we're firmly rooted in our heart center and in alignment with source, right? We're all hooked up, we're all aligned. then then that is contagious, and our joy is contagious, and our the beauty of life is contagious, and our, just being able to see through the eyes of love causes other people to be able to see through the eyes of love. right? it is a beautiful idea. And then that intoxication, that divine intoxication is demonstrably contagious. You can see it in all of the followers of the great ones, over the ages.
Yes, and it brings so many memories up of being with my teachers, my community, in song and dance and sacred ceremony and the teachings of wisdom. And we really do know that wonderful, wonderful feeling of being in that. Yeah.
Being in that field of intoxication, divine
Yes.
intoxication. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And also, I wanted to remind everyone that we have really wonderful meditations and guided visualizations on our channel that bring us inward, that turn our senses inward, align us with our hearts, and then open us up into that divine field. And we really love for people to utilize them as a practice because the more you do it, the more we raise our vibration, right? We raise each other up and then we share it with everyone else.
Yes, exactly. And that is the whole point, isn't it?
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Margaret. This was absolutely fantastic and really uplifting today.
Good, good. Thank you as well, Julia. Wonderful conversation.
Great. And to our audience, please subscribe and like, and go ahead and tell us in the comments where you get distracted in life and what you're focusing on to enrich yourself and shift yourself into that more open, loving, heart-centered connectedness. Thank you.
Thank you.